Hello and welcome, influencers, to Behind the Screen Business Confessions with your girl, Anika Cohen. I am your business strategist coach. Listen, welcome to another dynamic episode with real, raw conversations to motivate our leaders in the marketplace. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Listen, this is the show where we choose to live, choose to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious, and enlightened. I am just so excited that I get to have the opportunity to talk to our listeners on today. We've had some amazing guests on the show, right? Our Influencers Speak Out edition. We have some great guests lined up, but I am here to talk about it. Okay. You already know this is the show to talk about what goes on behind the screen, right? When it comes to our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors, that internal dialogue, right? When it goes quiet, when your sales aren't consistent, when things seem chaotic in your business, in your world, in your life, right? So we're here to talk about those experiences to number one, let our listeners know that they are not alone as they build their brand, business, and legacy, that there is a way to respond to those challenges and still choose to live, still choose to show up and be great, still choose to put you on the calendar, right? So I am super excited that we have another chance to just have a great dialogue and conversation. And I want to talk about validation in the marketplace, right? I want to talk about validation in the marketplace. I want to talk about, what is your response when you don't have the sales that you desire, when you're not reaping the results that you desire in your business consistently, right? What emotion shows up? What does that look like for you? And that's a real conversation that I would like for us as business owners to acknowledge and recognize. I would like us to have the conversation more about that internal well-being, the struggles, the challenges that we have as business owners behind the screen. Yes, we're showing up in excellence as the professionals that we are, but it is a real thing to be frustrated. It's a real thing to be overwhelmed. It's a real thing to want to give up. But you know that this assignment is greater and is bigger than you. So you choose to live. You choose to be intentional with showing up. But here's what I want you to begin to think about, right? When you are questioning your assignment, when you are doubting your strategies, when you are questioning what it is that you are doing in the first place, I want to have that conversation. I believe that stems from validation. And I want to talk about that. And the reason why I have this theory is because I work with individuals day after day in my community. I'm what you consider a dualpreneur. I work in my career and I also am working in my business, right? For the past 8 years, I have been in business for myself and I still work in my career. I love what I do. I love serving our community, serving our families and individuals in my community, because I believe everyone needs hope. And when you've lost your hope, it is my job to step in and serve and support you, right? So that's what I do. However, I'm finding to be true in the marketplace that when we have unresolved insecurities, when we have unresolved insecurities, we begin to question our entire existence in the marketplace. We begin to question our strategies. We begin to question our intentions. We're questioning everything about what it is that we were called to do in the first place. And why is that? My theory is I believe that it stems from validation in the marketplace, right? When you are not meeting your sales consistently, when you are putting in the time, the work, the energy, the effort day after day, and you are not meeting that result, you begin to question yourself. That's validation. It's more than just the sales. Right. I know that our sales is how we generate revenue. I know our sales is how we are thriving in business. It's what sustains the business, right? I'm no stranger to that. However, what I'm talking about is that internal dialogue, that internal thinking that we entertain, and we are messing up what God has called us to do. That's the best way that I could say that. We're getting in the way, right? Because of the validation. We're seeking after validation. We're seeking after approval from our peers, from your audience. Why? Why? And so until you are able to have that real honest dialogue within yourself, you are going to continue to go in cycles and circles. And I know this to be true. And I know that this is a real struggle within the marketplace with our leaders. And here's the thing. You are still a leader. You are still called to do great things, but don't lose your identity. Don't lose your voice. Don't lose sight of the vision, because you are seeking validation. You want your audience, you are wanting your peers, you wanting your coaches to approve what it is that you are doing. They can't. They can't. And your sales do not validate who you are as a being, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. Does that make sense? I know somebody's going to have something to say, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So I want to talk to you about a young lady that I follow. She is an entrepreneur in her own right. She's successful and she's doing great things in the earth. And her name is Sierra Nicole. And again, she's a Black owned business woman. And I want to share with you a clip from her interview on Beyond Her Hustle. You can check out the full interview on Instagram. Again, Beyond Her Hustle, you can check out the full clip. But there's a clip that she shared, and I want to share this clip because it speaks to the validation that, again, leaders struggle with in silence, that if you don't deal with the issue, then you're going to seek after that in your peers, your audience, and we don't want to operate from that space because that hinders you. So let's listen to this clip. Let's listen to this.
Because I knew what people would think about me and my family because we lived there. I moved $10,000 penthouse. Not for myself, but because of how I wanted other people to view me. And that's just facts. For a long time, I was in denial. Okay. For a long time, I was like, oh, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't meant to be. And maybe it was meant to be. Maybe it was meant to be a gigantic lesson. Because if you think about it, $10,000 a month for, I think we lived there for a year. Let's do the math, guys. $120,000. That is how much I spent just on rent for that penthouse that I had, that my family lived in. And I remember walking in that first day when we were moving, and I was so proud, and not proud because I felt like, this is really what I wanted, because it was what I wanted, but I wanted it because I knew what people would think about me and my family because we lived there. I moved into a $10,000.
I love this woman just for her transparency, just for her vulnerability, and for her bringing awareness to the validation in the marketplace. Again, as a counselor by trade, this is a normal emotion. However, when we entertain the thought and we ponder on that thought, it becomes your reality. Now, subconsciously, you are operating from the wrong emotion. It's no longer about the vision. It's no longer about you pursuing after your purpose. It's no longer about being happy and fulfilled, but now it's about approval. What are people going to think about me? I need to keep up with the Kardashians. I need to keep up with the Joneses. Listen, my last name is Cohen. I need to keep up with Anika Cohen. I need to keep up with her, right? So you don't have to keep up with anything or anyone. Follow your own path and allow your path to lead you, because you're already successful. You've accomplished great things. So that is enough. You accomplishing your goals, you being purpose driven, you being uniquely designed to carry out what God has called you to do, that is enough. So the validation from your peers, from your coach, from your audience is not necessary. We choose to live today. We choose to live, and we are no longer going to associate ourselves to our worthiness. We're no longer going to associate the lack of whatever it is in your business which you struggle with. You may not be struggling with consistent sales, but whatever your systems or whatever it is that you feel as though you're struggling with, it doesn't validate who you are or what you've been called to do. And we got to stop linking those two theories together. We have to. And the one thing that I love that she shared was, she shared, I don't think I have ever been this vulnerable before. It takes vulnerability. It takes courage. It takes you being brave to just acknowledge and recognize the truth about where you are right now, mentally and emotionally. I know some of you are tired. Some of you are just completely tired and you need to step away. And it's okay. You have nothing to prove to no one, but everything to gain. You have nothing to prove, but everything to gain. And you'll gain it in time. You'll gain it when you're ready to receive it all. Right? And I say that because oftentimes when we think about success, we automatically think about millions and thousands of dollars, right? And that's okay. You want to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle. You want to be able to provide for your family without paycheck to paycheck, right? And that's absolutely okay. But in following your vision and following the dream, you can't lose your identity. You can't lose who you are and begin to compete and compare. And before you know it, you've lost sight of what you was called to do because you're trying to keep up. You're trying to keep face. This woman was brave enough to say, I lost my identity. And what I heard her say, because there were some ignorant comments within the comment section about her speaking up and bringing awareness to this. There was ignorance, but it's not the fact that she couldn't afford it. She could afford it, but that's not what she desired. That's what I heard. Although she was living in this luxury penthouse, paying $10,000 a month, right? It's not something that she owned, right? So it's not even what she desired from her own words. It's not even what she desired. It was all about how this penthouse made her look, her status, her prestige to her audience, to her peers, right? And in doing that, she lost her identity. She's now moved. She's living where she wants to reside, not in the penthouse, paying 10K a month. Follow your vision, follow your dreams. Don't get caught up in the illusion. Don't get caught up in the hype. And I just acknowledge this woman for her bravery. And I thought it would be a great conversation to have here on Behind the Screen Business Confession, because this is what it's all about. And I definitely can relate to her. At some point in my journey, I have felt as though I did not deserve to be here because of the lack of, for me, it was sales. The sales weren't consistent. But once I began to check Anika within, like, okay, what is this really about? I got clarity. And it shifted my entire energy. It shifted the way that I showed up. It shifted everything about me. So she said, I don't think I have ever been this vulnerable before, but all the amazing feedback about Beyond Her Hustle has shown me how necessary this conversation really is. For so long, I made major financial decisions just for outside validation. Living life on social media, I placed my worth in how viral my content was. I was doing things for all the wrong reasons. In this episode, I exposed the truth behind the $10,000 a month luxury penthouse. And I just would love to admonish her for her bravery. And I want to know, listeners, what are your thoughts, right? When it comes to validation in the marketplace, do you struggle with that? Are you even aware of it? Because most of the times you're not aware that it's really validation. You may not be aware that that's what the struggle really is. But if you're not meeting your goals in your business, and now you're questioning, you're doubting your purpose, your vision, you're questioning what it is that you're doing, you're questioning your strategies, you're questioning your brand message, you're starting to question and doubt everything. It may be because you're chasing after something else. And until you clean that up, until you disrupt that pattern and give it a name, give it sound, and break that down within, then you're going to continue to go in cycles and circles. And it's not the coach's fault, right? I know you have invested in many coaches, right? You've invested in the book coach, the writing coach, the speaker coach, the business coach, right? Though all of those things are necessary in you growing in business. All of those things are necessary. But if you're beginning again to question that, like, darn, I'm doing what the coach is telling me to do. I'm doing what she said to do, and I wasted my money. No, you didn't waste your money. You didn't waste your money. She taught you something that you did not know, or she refreshed you. She gave you a refresher, which is always helpful. Most times you're seeking after something else. So get clarity about what that something else is, right? You know, the problem could be time management. The problem could be budgeting. The problem could be direction. You might need to rebrand, restructure. You might need to, again, but you got to self-check. It could be your mindset is the problem, right? You're not tracking, assessing, or adjusting your products and services. You're not tracking the data. You're not tracking the analytics, right? So you got to go back to you and find your identity, Find your identity, accept your identity, because who you are today is molding you for the woman or the man that you will become. You're forever evolving. So give yourself grace and be a little more kind to yourself. Be a little more kind to yourself on this journey. I know you're doing great things. I know that you are serving your community, your audience, and you're giving them your all, but you are important too. Don't forget about you. Don't forget to put you on the calendar, right? Because you are your most valuable asset. Without you, the business doesn't even matter. Without you, it's not possible. So I want you to put you back on the calendar. I want you to embrace your journey from a different lens. Renew, refresh your mind daily. So escape. I invite you to escape. We have a Women's Escape Self-Care and Love subscription for our ladies around the world who need to dedicate themselves back to themselves, right? This is about you finding your balance, finding your inner worth, your inner strength, right? Because you are no good to your business, your brand, your audience if you are struggling mentally, emotionally, physically. So you need to find space, time to put you on that calendar. So the Woman's Escape subscription box, we're now taking pre-orders for that. So anywho, that's just a quick commercial break. All right, so listen, I just wanted to speak from the heart. I hope something that was said on today will resonate with your soul, with your spirit, not with your flesh, right? Because this is not about offending you. This is about acknowledging and recognizing what could be hindering you from greater. And the only way to break free, the only way to break through is to acknowledge, accept, and own it. All right. So until next time, influencers, I want you to choose to live. I want you to choose to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious, and enlightened. Listen, if you have not subscribed, go ahead, subscribe to our channel, YouTubers, and our listeners on our podcast. If you are new to our show, go ahead and follow us. We'll be here every Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, influencers, choose to live.